Hey everyone, Jake here. Today's video is going to go over how to create great leads for your ad copy because they're very important. Um, Making my leads stronger has helped me get to 15K days. But first, let's go ahead and go over what a lead is and why it is so important, okay? To go over it, so the lead is the opening section of your ad copy. It's usually the first 200 to 400 words, depending on how long your full copy is, okay? It's the hook. The part that stops someone mid scroll and makes them actually read instead of just skimming past, line jumping, doing all that. Okay, it gets them actually interested. So the lead is not where you dump all of your features or make the hard pitch. That comes later. Okay, the lead's only job is to grab attention and then pull them into the rest of your copy. Okay, think of it like this: if your ad copy is a conversation, the lead is your opening line. If you mess it up, the conversation will never happen. Okay, so good leads do this. Good leads stop the scroll immediately. They create curiosity and hit an emotion or hit an emotion. Make the reader think, wait, I need to keep on reading this because I relate to this. Okay, and then also it sets up the rest of the copy. Okay, because it makes the reader want to keep on reading the rest of the ad copy. Okay, so if your lead sucks, your hook sucks, they're not going to read. You've already lost them, okay? So now we're going to go over why most people's leads suck. All right, and this is because most people write leads that try to do everything at once. So within the first 300 words, they want to try to tell an emotional story, list all product benefits, explain the science behind it, share testimonials, build credibility, address objections, and create urgency. Okay. Now, within the first 300 words, trying to squash all of that into that, it's too much for your reader to process. Okay. So this is where I introduce the one thing rule framework. Okay, this is what separates leads that convert from leads that flop. Okay, so every lead needs to focus on one thing. Okay, I'll go over them, but one big idea, one emotion, one story, one fact, one main benefit, one action. Okay, so one big idea is the main concept that everything revolves around, not three ideas competing for attention. One. Okay, so a bad example of a text that's not following the one big idea rule would be this chair supports your back and improves posture and reduces fatigue and okay it's and okay, a good example would be your office chair is creating micro compressions in your spine every time you sit. Okay, it gets the reader to think about one thing. All right, not and okay, pick the single idea that's big enough to care about, easy to understand, and it's believable. Okay, one emotion. Okay, the primary feeling driving them to act, not bouncing between five different emotions. Okay, so a bad example of this would be making them feel guilty, then scared, then excited, then skeptical, then hopeful. But a good example would be hitting frustration with failed solutions over and over until they feel it deeply and then releasing it with relief. Okay, so go deep on one emotion instead of shallow on many. Okay, one story or one fact. The proof that backs up your promise, not a pile of different testimonials and studies. Okay, you only need one piece of proof that's strong. Okay, so bad example, studies show, plus my friend tried it, and this expert discovered, and thousands of customers. Okay, if you're doing in your ad copy, oh, this doctor found out, oh, and then my friend at Bingo showed me, and then this expert in Arizona found out, and then oh, look at all these customer testimonials. I mean, nobody wants to read that. Okay, but if you have one strong thing, it's believable. Okay, so the good example is veterinary research on canine stress patterns. That's it. That is your proof point. Okay, so one strong piece of proof repeated is more believable than five weak ones mentioned once. Okay, and then you need one main benefit. List the transformation they are getting. Okay, not a laundry list of every possible benefit. Bad would be calms anxiety, improves sleep, reduces barking, helps digestion, and makes them happier. Obviously, your pet. And then good would be your dog actually sleeps through the night. So pick the benefit that connects to the strongest desire and makes you different. Okay. One action. What do you want them to do right now? And obviously, if this is your lead, you want them to keep on reading. You don't want them to read reviews, check our Instagram, take the quiz, buy now, or sign up for some email newsletter. Okay, you just want them to keep on reading to see why this is different, why this is the one that works. Okay, the lead's action is simple. Make them read the next section. That's it. Okay, just get them to the offer. That's it. Okay, why this works. Focus creates power. When you hammer one idea 7 times instead of touching 7 ideas once, the reader actually remembers it. When you drive one emotion deeply instead of just skimming 5 emotions, they actually feel something. The human brain needs repetition to encode memory. Okay? It needs to keep on hearing the same thing over and over and over again. Just like in the text before, right? If you're having, oh, the doctor found out this, my friend showed me this, right? That's too many things at once. Okay? It needs singular focus to avoid cognitive overload. And it needs one clear path to follow, not 6 competing directions, right? Okay. So the example of the difference, without the framework, it's scattered. Okay, 6 big ideas, 5 emotions, 5 proof points, 8 benefits mentioned. The result, the reader's confused, nothing sticks, and they bounce. They're gone. They leave. Okay. With the framework, the reader is more focused, more engaged, okay, more interested. So one big idea repeated 7 times, one emotion hit deeply, one proof point, one benefit. The result, the reader understands immediately, remembers it, and keeps reading. Okay. Is your hook good enough? Okay, I'm gonna go over how to know if your hook is good enough. So now that you know the one thing rule, let's talk about your opening 2 to 3 sentences, the hook. This is where most leads die. Okay, you could have the best body copy, the strongest offer, but if your hook sucks, nobody reads past line 2. Okay, now here's how to know if your hook actually works. So, your hook should do these 4 things: create immediate recognition or curiosity within 3 seconds. Okay, the reader should either think, "Oh shit, that's me," or "Wait, what?" Like they should feel like they should either instantly relate to it or feel very intrigued. Okay, so in the first few seconds, right? If they're still trying to figure out what you're talking about after 3 seconds, you've lost them. Okay? So be specific, not generic. So generic would be, are you tired of feeling exhausted? Boring, boring, boring. Okay? Now, specific. Do you wake up at 2 a.m. and can't fall back asleep for an hour? Right? One could apply to anyone, the other hits a specific person with a specific problem. Okay? One's just more detailed. One calls out a time. It feels more real. Okay? So either call out a problem or activate a desire. So you're either poking a pain point they already feel or making them want something they didn't know they wanted. Okay? Don't be neutral. Make them feel something immediately. And then make them want line 2. The hook's only job is to get them to read the next sentence. That's it. If line 1 doesn't make them curious about line 2, it's failed. All right, let's go ahead and go over some bad hooks versus good hooks. Okay. Now, this is for a ergonomic office chair. Bad would be, do you experience back pain after sitting at your desk all day? You're not alone. Millions of people suffer from poor posture. Why it sucks? Boring question everyone asks. Do you experience back pain after sitting at your desk all day? Really? I mean, come on. Um, you're not alone is filler. I mean, that's everywhere. Like, tell me something that nobody else says. Okay? Stats about millions feels generic and impersonal. Okay? It's not personalized. Okay? I mean, what percentage of Americans work in an office all day and get back pain because their chair sucks? Right? There's nothing personal about it. Okay? Sounds like every health article ever written. Okay? And then a good example would be, I threw away 3 ergonomic office chairs before I figured out why my back still hurt at 2 p.m. every day. Okay? It's why this works. It's immediately relatable.
To unlock your iPhone first.
All right. Immediately relatable. They've also bought ergonomic stuff. that didn't work. Okay, and the specific time makes it feel real. 2 p.m., not just no time. Okay, specific is better. And then it creates curiosity. Wait, why did it still hurt? I mean, this person has tried multiple options. How come it still hurt? Right? They want to know because they're experiencing the same pains. Okay, and then it implies there's an answer that they don't know, so they want to find out. They're also experiencing the same sort of pain. What do you know that they don't? What did you find out? Okay, so now, guys, after knowing all this, okay, you can rewatch if you want to, go over certain parts. Let's go ahead and go over how to actually create these leads. All right. All right, guys. So I have this prompt right here. It's the lead writing prompt. Um, you basically just copy and paste this straight into Claude, ChatGPT, whatever you use. Okay. So let's go ahead and go over to Claude, which is what I use. All right, guys. So once you're on Claude, go ahead and paste that prompt in, and then say, analyze this prompt and ask me the required questions. Okay. Now it seems like a lot of questions, but just answer them. Doesn't take much, and it's gonna be worth it in the end when you make a really banger lead. Now take your time with this, but just for the sake of the video and just to show you guys how good this works, I'm gonna just ask it to generate 200 to 400 words of ad copy for the lead, obviously, and let's go ahead and see what it gives us. All right, guys. So I've asked it, and I just gave it some pretty small stuff. No, I did not fill out the questions, but just to give you guys an idea of how well this works, even if you're being super vague, I'm not going to answer the questions. Okay, I gave it some pretty basic stuff, gave it a basic demographic, and I asked it to generate 200 to 400 word piece of copy. Okay, and then here's the lead copy that I generated. Okay, you felt it, didn't you? Well, actually, I'll read it, but I'm going to ask it to generate some copy based on the same information I gave it, but without this prompt. Okay. All right, guys. So I have these two pieces of lead copy inside of this Google Doc. So let's go ahead and go over the good and the bad. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I blindly copy and pasted these pieces of lead copy it gave me. I made no changes, but that is just to show you how good this prompt works. Okay. Now, guys, please, I emphasize this, do not blindly copy and paste what AI gives you. Please make changes. Please understand why you're using the copy you're using and why it works. Okay. First one, you felt it, didn't you? That moment when you looked in the mirror after religiously using that miracle serum for 3 weeks straight, and your lines looked exactly the same. Okay. That's already personalized. Okay. Because people are so desperate to get rid of their lines, right? Wrinkles, crow's feet, that they use these bottles of serums religiously. Okay? That's personalized, right? You felt it, didn't you? It calls them out, but what did they feel? They want to know, so they keep on reading. Or maybe even worse. Here's what the $50 billion anti-aging industry won't tell you. It's not that the ingredients don't work. Retinol works, peptides work, hyaluronic acid works. The problem? Your skin stops responding to them. It's called ingredient fatigue. And nowhere else in this ad copy do you see anything else. One big idea, ingredient fatigue. It gets them centered on it. And guess what? The rest of your ad copy would talk about ingredient fatigue. Okay? This is just a lead, guys. And this is a great lead. Now, would I make changes to some of this? I would. But now let's just go ahead and go over the bad. Okay? Off, off for the jump, I can already tell you why this is bad. But let's go ahead and read it. I watched my sister throw another $95 bottle in the trash last month. It worked for 3 weeks, she said, frustrated. And then nothing. This was her fourth miracle serum this year. Same story every time. Amazing results for the first few weeks. Then her skin just stopped responding. Sound familiar? If you've been through this cycle, you're not alone. And more importantly, it's not your fault. Okay, so this sucks. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. Dog shit. Okay, it fucking sucks. And then again, this is coming from the sister's experience. This is not your ad copy should be like coming from like if you were the person who were actually experiencing this problem and you were talking about it, it should be coming from your point of view. Okay? Not your point of view talking about your sister's experiences. It should be your own experiences, okay? Um right here, okay, this just talks about this is just calling the person out. This is over here talking about her sister's experiences, okay? And then let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. On the 14th line, we finally get to what this serum actually is for. Her deep forehead lines are noticeably softer. Guys, read this. It doesn't ever get to the point. It takes forever to actually tell the reader what kind of serum this is. Okay, because no one just knows what a miracle serum is. All right, guys. So, um, guys, you can obviously see the big difference. Okay, this is way better than this one. Okay, guys. So, of course, again, please don't blindly copy and paste this stuff. Um, Understand why you're using the things that you're using. But guys, this is a great prompt. I'll leave it in the description of the video, of course. Um, yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Thanks for tuning in. My last video went absolutely like crazy, so I'm gonna start being super consistent with videos. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.